Welcome back to EDS, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can grow a small portfolio or a small account by writing options contracts and collecting premium upfront. So the first thing that you want to do is navigate over to any equities underlying. It doesn't matter which one you choose. We've got Docu open at the moment, and you simply want to get up a list of expiration dates for that specific underlying. Now the purpose of this is to simply pick an expiration date. All equities have the same expiration date, so it doesn't matter which one you choose. We're just interested in the dates themselves. So the one that we want to pick needs to be between 30 and 60 days out in time. It also needs to be a monthly, not a weekly or quarterly expiration date. Now the only expiration date that actually fits that criteria right now is February 21st, which is 55 days out in time. Now we want to take this information, 55 days, come over to our watch list, and we want to simply filter out any and all underlyings that have an earnings event over the next 55 days. The reason for this is because earnings, leading up to an earnings announcement, volatility will increase, and as we know, the higher the volatility, the higher the options price. Now where we'll be writing options contracts, that basically means we're going to be short the contracts, and when you're short you want to sell high and buy low. So we don't want a situation where volatility increases whilst we're in our position, because that will increase options price and that will negatively affect our P&L. We also want to filter out anything that has a low liquidity rating level. This is simply because we only are interested in trading liquid markets. The more liquid the market is, the tighter the spread. The spread is the difference between your bid and ask, and it's what you pay every time you get in and out of a position. So the more liquid the market, the tighter the spread. The tighter the spread, the less you pay to get in and out. Therefore, the more profit you keep in your pocket. Now you'll be left with something that looks like this. This is a pre-made watch list. You can use any watch list that you like, as long as it has a good variety of underlyings. And I simply like to order everything from high to low implied volatility rank. As previously mentioned before, we want to sell when volatility is high. We want to sell when option prices are high, and so that we can play the contraction of volatility back down to its mean, because remember, volatility is mean reverting. So at this point we simply go down the list and find an underlying that would fit well and be suitable for our portfolio. Now if you want to go with a naked position, you can simply go with a small underlying, something under $50 if you have a small account, but that does limit you quite a bit. So I'm going to show you how you can manipulate a position to fit inside any size portfolio, no matter how big the underlying is. So we're going to go with GLD here, which is trading at just over $241. It is a Saturday, the market is closed, but we're still just going to mock up a position to show you what to do. So GLD is trading at over $241. This is not a small underlying by any means. It has an IV rank of 46.1 and an absolute IV level of 14.6. So we want to come over to our list of expiration dates for that underlying, and we want to simply open up the expiration date that we've already selected, which is February 21st, which is 55 days out in time. And now we will be presented with the options chain. So this horizontal orange line shows us where the price of GLD currently is with respect to the strikes, and this vertical orange bar shows us what the expected move is of GLD over the next 55 days. Now we want to ensure we have a high probability of success. We've already made sure we have a high IV environment by looking at the IV rank. Anything over 50 is considered high. Anything over 30, especially for something like a GLD, can be considered high as well. So 46.1 is quite nice. And all that's left to do is actually sell some contracts. So we want to sell one call and one put. Calls on the left, puts are on the right. And we want to sell them outside of the expected move, which will give us a high probability of success. Remember, we are writing these options contracts. We are short these contracts, which means we don't want price to go beyond these contracts. We want price to stay well away from these contracts. So if we know what the expected move is and we can simply just sell outside of the expected move, That's going to lead to a high probability of success. We also have these one standard deviation levels denoted by these dotted blue lines, which will also help us. And we've also got delta here. So I personally like to sell contracts between 15 and 20 deltas. So we've got a 15 delta here on the call side at the 258 strike, and we also have a there's a 14 delta and a 16 delta. So we're just going to go with the 16 delta on the put side at the 230 strike, and that basically has created a range for us in between 230 and 258. Now, as long as price stays within this range at the point of expiration in 55 days time, we will keep 100% of the premium that we collect up front. Now, as you can see, our contracts are in and around the one standard deviation mark, and they're also outside of the expected move. Well, the put side is just touching the expected move, but if you notice, we have this green bar here, which is our break-even bar. Now, as you'll notice, the break-even bar, the green bar, massively overshadows the orange bar, which is the expected move. Now, what that's done is that's led to a high probability of success, as you can see here, with a pop of 70%, which means a probability of profit of 70%, which means that at the point of expiration, we have a 70% chance of making at least 1 penny on this position. If we didn't want to wait all the way to expiration and we wanted to get out at, say, 50% of max profit, we have an 84% chance of being able to do that at some point over the next 55 days. So we are looking at probabilities of success between 70 and 84%, which is clearly very, very high. Anything over 50% is considered a high probability of success. So these are some very high probabilities. Now, what is the premium that we collect up front? It's this number down here, 2.23. That's $2.23. There is a contract multiplier of 100 for equities, which means you would multiply that out by 100. That gives us a max profit of $223. Now, our broker is going to require just over 4.8k in buying power to open this position. So we are getting a semi-okay return on capital for a naked position, especially with it being something like GLD, which is always nice to trade. Now, of course, $4,800 to allocate to any one single position, it can be and probably is too much for most accounts, especially if you have a small account, which is what this guide is catered to. So now I'm going to show you how you can manipulate this position to fit inside any size portfolio that you may have. So what we want to do is simply sell another contract, not sell another contract, we want to buy another contract that's a little bit further out from the ones that we've already sold. And we want to do that on the put side and on the call side. So let's just say we take $2, right? We go $2 wide, so 1 and 2. So we buy the 260 strike and we sell the 258 strike. Now we can do the same thing on the put side, 1, 2. And we buy the 228 and sell the 230. So what we've done is we've created a $2 wide spread on either side. Now what this has done is it's defined our max loss, our max risk. Now our max risk or our max loss is defined as whatever the spread is in between these two contracts, which is $2 minus the premium that we collect up front, which is 46 cents now, because remember we're paying to buy these long contracts. So it's $2 minus 46 cents times by the contract multiplier, which gives us a max loss of $154. So we collect $46 up front and we have a max loss of $154, and that's what our buying power requirement is now as well. So we've taken our buying power requirement from almost $5,000 to just over $150, which is now much more suitable for most portfolios. And if you notice here, we have a much higher return on capital now. We're looking to make $46 and we're risking $154. Now the trade-off for this is we now have slightly lower probabilities of success. We have a pop of 64 and a probability of hitting 50% of 78% now. as opposed to 84, I believe it was. So slightly lower slightly lower probabilities of success. However, we have much higher returns on capital now. Now you can also manipulate this position further. You can go to, say, the 20 delta on both sides. Bear with me. Not sure why this has come up, but there we go. So we could go to the 20 delta on both sides, and we can simply widen or shorten the spread of the contracts that the spread on the long contract, basically. So for example, we can go with $4, $1, $2, $3, and $4 wide on the put side. So we can simply just match that and go $4 wide on the call side, and we're going to collect more premium up front and slightly more buying power because obviously the spread is wider, but we collect more premium up front. And you can simply keep doing this over and over until you decide on a position that you're happy with, based on your probabilities of success, based on the premium that you collect, based on how much buying power is required. And this is simply what you do. As long as you're in a high implied volatility environment, as long as you're managing your position size, you'll be absolutely fine over the long term. Now, how do you know how to size your positions? How do you know how much buying power you should be allocating to your positions? Well, in order to figure that out, we've created a free position sizing template that's available for everybody to use. The link is in the description, and the way it works is you enter in the size of your portfolio up top, and then you enter in whatever the current VIX level is, and everything will then be automatically calculated for you, and it will tell you the maximum amount of buying power to allocate to a single defined risk position, undefined risk position, how much of your portfolio you should be allocating to short premium strategies in general. And as long as you follow this guideline over the long term, you will be absolutely fine. If you would like to learn in more detail about what we do and how we do it, link will be in the description. This time click on EDS Premium, get yourself signed up. Inside, you will have access to all of our portfolios that will allow you to see the positions that we're placing, how we're managing risk, how we're making adjustments, all in real time. There's also a full course, so no prior knowledge is required. We will teach you everything that you need to know. And if you get stuck, you can speak directly with myself or with other like-minded individuals. It is a private community. And if you're not satisfied at any point, there is a 100% money-back guarantee. So after 6 months, once you have been through the full course and followed some of our trades, if at that point you haven't been profitable, then we will work with you for free until you are, or you can simply request a full refund. So it's completely risk-free, and right now it's £1 a month to join. It's so cheap because we've just launched. The price will be increasing. However, once you're in, the price is locked in for you for life. So you are definitely rewarded for getting in early. And the mission of EDS Premium is to get you to a point within 6 to 12 months to where you've learned the skill and you know what to do, and you can do this again and again for the rest of your life without any external help or influence. And it should take you about 6 to 12 months to get to that point. You are always welcome to stay and be a part of the community. However, 6 to 12 months and you should be good to go. So with that being said, I will see you guys on the inside.